Hey, welcome back to the Metro Icon podcast. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful life because I mean it. We got a very fun episode, y'all, as I say every single week, but I definitely mean it. And of course, let's talk about those amazing updates, announcements, and all that good stuff that I would love you guys to know about. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at Shawn Kay Do It All, or go to my website www.theshowman.live to get updates and announcements and check out my stuff in case you need me for your next event and whatnot. Every single Tuesday, you can catch me downtown Fort Worth at the Library Bar hosting bingo karaoke, the biggest banger in downtown Fort Worth from 9 to 1 p.m. Or no, 9 to 1 a.m. A.m. wouldn't be 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. every single Tuesday, where bingo numbers are called with every karaoke performance that goes up on stage, and everyone in the bar has a chance to win one of three Library Bar gift cards that only go up in value, and you can use towards your tab that night. So make sure you guys come through on Tuesdays, and as well, again, follow me on my socials, especially on Instagram, to check of the upcoming events that I'll be at. As well, with this episode being released, hopefully you are checking it out right away because these episodes get released every single Sunday by 10 a.m. I will actually be hitting up and performing the new grand opening of a brand new comedy club, Jack's Comedy Club in Rockwall, Texas. I love small town comedy and met a beautiful soul named Esperanza. So for any of the comedians out there, make sure you guys go check out Jack's Comedy Club. The very first open mic is happening this Sunday as this episode is being released. I believe, March 24th is the date. So you can catch me there, and hopefully there'll be more shows to come. Yeah, I'm getting excited. There's going to be a lot. Other than that, y'all, let's talk about our sponsors, just like the biggest one, InsiderCloth.com, the last microfiber cloth you will ever need, because you guys know that you guys will be using your general fabrics, the bottom of your shirt, always to clean off those glass lenses and surfaces. But you guys don't even understand that these little general fabrics are actually hurting your glass lenses and surfaces, man. They're just moving dirt around, scratching it up, creating those micro abrasions that are going to lessen the quality and visibility of those surfaces. With Insider Cloth, you firmly stick it on the bottom of your shirt, inside bottom of your shirt. You can keep the habit, change the fabric, last microfiber cloth you can ever need. And all you got to do is go to insidercloth.com and put in the promo code DIA cloth. That's DIACLOTH. Get 10% off your next order and figure out why Insider Cloth is the absolute truth. And then, of course, we got Teddy Johnson of D&K Contracting. With all these Texas storms that have been coming around the area, I know, especially around my area, all these homes are getting messed up by hailstorms, wind, all that bad stuff that is literally creating damage that your home insurance companies are supposed to take care of. But it's a headache dealing with them. Teddy Johnson's the guy to take away all those worries, all right? All you got to do is get a free consultation, talk to him, and you'll see exactly why everybody who talks to Teddy always goes back. He's the dude. He's going to give you the best return of result on that job. Hear what I'm saying, all right? Email him at teddyj.dkcontracting@gmail.com, and you'll find out why everybody goes to Teddy to get that home restoration or home repair project done. And then, of course, if it's your next private event, make sure you guys are hitting up Do It All Entertainment. Check us out at Do It All Entertainment or doitallive.com. Shoot us an email at info@doitallentertainment.com. And then for your media production, as you can see with the video quality and all that you see with these podcast episodes being released, hit up DIA Media for your next creative consultation, maybe for your next media project, whatever you're trying to get done, social media promotion. DIA Media Pro at gmail.com. All right, let's get into this episode, y'all. This is a very, very fun one because I'm actually talking to an industry homie that I had met some time ago. I would say a few years ago on an event together that we got booked, and an extremely talented Indian singer that has performed internationally on very big scales. We talk about his journey, the singing competition he did, and that his progression and full-time grind now. And he happened to be in Dallas for an event, and I had to get him on the pod. So, ladies and gentlemen, turn up your speakers, turn up your volume. This is my episode with the very talented NEEL.
You can do it all. You can't
Do it all, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Metro Icon Podcast. I am your host, Shawn Kay the Showman of Do It All Entertainment and DIA Media, and you know what we do on this show. We talk about the world of entertainment and media and the icons that live in it, and man, I got a Bali icon in the house, ladies and gentlemen. He was a finalist on the Sarigama singing competition, and he has serenaded the souls of many Desi hearts out there, ladies and gentlemen. He's so amazing. He only goes by one name. It's NEEL.
Yo,
Welcome to the show, NEEL.
thanks for having me, bro.
Nadkarani. Nadkarani.
Nadkarni.
Nadkarani.
Nadkarni.
Nadkarani.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I have to do it like an Amitabh Bachchan in order for me to like nail that last Nadkarani.
Well, that was good.
Right?
That was good.
Exactly. See, I can't say it like in my normal infliction. It's not gonna do it.
Yeah, it's long.
You're like trying to saragama puppy teach me how to say no, you know how to no like
Sarigamapa.
yeah, you know the saragama. Well, welcome man. NEEL is from New Jersey. He came in town to Dallas to do what he does best, which is perform and sing, and man, did he sing. He did his thing, and before he flew out of here, I knew I had to get him on the show. So welcome to the Metro Icon.
Yo, it's great to be here, bro.
It is
Yo, by the way, it's recording, right? Because my friend also does a podcast, and he realized like 1 hour through that it wasn't recording.
No, we are recording,
okay.
100%.
Okay, cool.
I see the red dot.
'Cause
So
they
the
said
red
they were
dot
having a
there,
good- they were having a
red
good
dot
combo.
there. The audio is recording live.
Nice.
And
you have a gate on this too. I think it's going in. and out.
yeah, it goes in and
Nice.
out. Yeah.
Nice.
So there's
Wow, here's a professional.
man. This guy knows it. He can hear it by ear. Oh, you have the gate.
I could hear the
I
noise.
can
gate.
hear my voice swinging in and out. But yeah, man. And this was your first time in Dallas.
Yes.
How did you enjoy DFW?
It's cool, man. I'm glad we also met up. Thanks for also welcoming me to the city.
Of course, I had to show you
And,
what these towns, these cities
What
have
these
to
streets do.
offer, what these streets do. Me and NEEL actually we met on a wedding that we were both contracted on in 2021 in Chicago, and so that was the first time that I met NEEL, and that was the last time I saw NEEL. And we kept in touch over the years. We have connected on, let's say, personal, let's call it recollections, personal questions to the journey and things that, making sure that, you just wanted to feel at peace or just how to navigate throughout the entertainment industry, I think.
Yeah.
And it's been a very active, supportive, loving relationship that I have not taken for granted. And look at us now.
Wow, man. Same. You're good at expressing in words. Sometimes I have trouble,
that's
but
why people pay me for this MC shit.
but no, well said, man. It was no, I'm glad we met, and then like you were saying, it's crazy because we only met that one time in Chicago, and then we kind of kept in touch, and then I remember it's fine, right? It's going in and out.
You're good.
Okay. And no, I reached out to you when I had that one gig that I didn't enjoy, and I was like, I'll reach out to you because you'll understand the
And
frustration.
you're like, how do you deal? And I'm like,
Yeah,
let me tell
I
you,
know.
Neil.
Yeah.
The deal.
The deal.
The deal, Neil. And which ultimately, like, I would say that when I meet genuine entertainers in the game, let alone for Indian men, for Desi men to be in the entertainment game is a very far thing to be a part of, right? I'm one of the very, very few guys, especially in like the Malu community, but I'm like doing this full time.
Yeah.
And so, as much as like I deal with these struggles and stuff, sometimes a humbling thing, because a lot of people will come back to me and they're like, man, like the fact that you do this full time, it's like, it garners like a respect that I don't take for granted. And so again, it's like when I see guys that are young that have so much unbelievable talent, and you're trying to navigate in the industry and trying to overcome, like, I guess, call it the bullshit that comes with it, right? And like, I'm always going to be willing to like lend my voice or just any type of advice from like, overcoming certain troubles or issues that like maybe took me a couple of years to figure out. And anything that I can do to help pave a clear path for anyone, I'm going to do it. I might not be right every time, but
No.
I'll give you whatever you may need. I think your biggest problem that I think you will face today is too nice. Do you think you're too nice? I think
I think so, man.
yeah, and especially like, to me, I navigate more through the live event industry. You are technically more within the music industry.
Yeah, true.
And you've been working with who are some of the like let's say Bollywood actors, singers that maybe you've worked with?
So I've opened for a number of these people, like Ghulam Ali, the big ghazal singer from Pakistan. Vishal Shekhar, the big music director duo from India, and then Sukhwinder Singh, I sang backup vocals for one of his gigs. Countless other Jay Sean I opened for in Philly.
I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one Sean I do know. JC. Yeah. And ultimately, you're still obviously getting booked on these weddings and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you think that being within the wedding like market is something that is going to be that ongoing career path for you, or do you think that like you would love to elevate your career on like through the music industry and just ultimately focus on your gigs doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's relative, because right now, I mean, I'm lucky to have a good backing band with me, and we sorry to it's kind of the sound,
it's working.
It's weird.
Working against you.
Yeah, a little bit.
I might need to just I can try turning the microphone a little bit. Hold on, let me see this.
Yeah.
Let me see that real quick. And
Oh, all right, let's try this. Yeah. Oh, that sounds good now.
yeah.
Thank you. No, I have with my backing band, and we do a lot of different types of gigs, and it's like the kind of the high end weddings, and I mean I feel like it's relative, because right now luckily we do a lot of like big gigs, and I'm still pursuing the original music and putting out singles, and hopefully an album soon, and I think that'll elevate me, and then I can do even better, like bigger weddings or different events, and offer a different product, and just keep elevating that way.
Yeah, and you are also single, correct?
Yes.
So do you think, because you are just, everything about you is just lovely, you know?
Thank you.
You're just a lovely, lovely guy, and you sing about the love, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say that NEEL is a hopeless romantic. And so I feel like, what do you think? Because obviously you're writing your own music. You have written also for other artists and singers, and essentially playing just like a, I guess, ghostwriter role. But what is the catalyst of all this pyar?
Yeah, no, it's funny, because when people ask me before, I mean, like in the past, I've said, just I'm married to the music, just to give like a vague. I'm just being transparent with you, you know. So, I mean, it just comes from different experiences, obviously,
A lot of heartbreak,
dating, and some heartbreak. It's okay, not a lot.
Do you think,
but,
are you the one that's left in heartbreak, or are you the heartbreaker?
It's a good question, man. It might be like a mix.
It might be a mix.
Might be a mix. But sometimes, I mean, I write with my co-writers, and sometimes I don't know, the melodies come a lot easier to me. So I'll write some melodies and some like dummy words, like zindagi and pyar. And then my co-writers will, put in some nice lyrics.
It's like I think Hindi probably has the most words for the
you're
love.
saying the 50
like
words.
there's 50 words for love in Hindi or something like that.
Mohabbatein.
Mohabbatein, pyar, zindagi.
So, oh yeah, no, I was gonna say like, and we are sometimes we come with scenarios, you know, like, oh, what if this happened? Sometimes it's not always just like what I've been through or what
yeah.
my buddy's been through, but like sometimes we'll think of a scenario and write about that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so like, what do you? So you have an album that you're working on right now. What is the like premise of that album? Is it pretty much a love album for the most part?
I mean, right now I'm kind of just releasing a single. I don't know when the interview will come out now, but I'm working on this sound
This
that I showed
interview
you.
is
Yeah.
going to be a while because
Okay.
this is a season 3.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine then. So
Yeah.
by that time, the song will be out hopefully.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the
So
sound.
what's the name of the song? What's the name
Tere
of
hone se.
Tere Hone Se. Out now on the Spotify. Yeah. Just look up NEEL. NEEL.
All caps.
All caps. That's it.
Yeah.
One word. NEEL like seal. Yeah.
Dude, it's funny because it's Neil all caps everywhere, and still people like when they text me about NEIL, NEAL, I'm like, bro, uncle. Did you see the flyer? It says NEEL. Come on.
Yeah.
No, it's just to anglicize me.
Simple details,
My
bro.
thing mixed. Yeah.
Man, the amount of times like it's almost like oh man, like where are you performing? And I'm like, do you follow me on Instagram? Yeah. It's all on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the show? Did you get the flyer? Yeah. I'm looking at the flyer right now. The address is right there.
One
And
time,
I'm like,
okay, we're getting too real, but a fan,
That's the
this
whole
girl,
point.
I ran into a girl, like just a fan, right, or whatever, through a friend too, so like mutual friends, and she had come to some gigs, and she was like, oh, she DM'd me on Instagram, we want to come to your next gig, let me know. I'm like, yeah, I put everything on Instagram. She's like, okay, we'll be there. And then she hadn't followed me on the thing on Instagram, and she's still like, and then she DM'd me like a week after, like, oh, where's the next show? I'm like, if you follow, if you follow me, you'll
wait,
see.
she started following you.
No, didn't.
She didn't follow.
Just DMing me. Just like,
But she never followed you.
no. I'm just like, it's kind of odd.
What a fuck, man. Like honestly, like sometimes it's like I don't understand. And like again, what's funny is that like, and I think we talked about because I'm like I just hit this 2,000 followers, no big deal. And yeah, I know, not in any comparison to your 15.5K followers, but I'm coming for you.
Hopefully more by the time they interview.
Coming, yeah. After this happens, if you follow NEEL, follow Shawn Kay the Showman. Yeah, but like, it's one of those things where it's kind of like that's where I'm guessing that this woman was Indian too,
Yeah.
and so like,
see.
I always talk about how the Indian community, it's like silent support.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of it is like always like, oh, we see what you're doing, man. It's awesome and all this kind of thing. They don't follow me on any of my stuff. And then it's like, those are simple actions.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Simple actions. It's like we're dealing with the balance of us trying to do our creative projects and do our gigs and whatever other work and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With a personal life. And it's kind of like when you ask like questions where the answers have been already provided for you, and then you are sending me a message to have to respond with details I've
Exactly.
already posted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, yo, like what pushing a follow button, that is like very easy work to show support.
Yeah.
And and then again to like not do it.
Yeah.
And then have to ask you like we're like man.
Yeah, I'm not even saying like random people like that's okay. It's still an easy action, I'll say,
Yeah.
right? But this person like it's like we want to come support, like we want to come to this gig. I'm like, okay, then just follow.
start
get
there.
the info. Yeah.
Start with the follow button.
Yeah.
And then you'll see
Yeah.
when it's coming, where it's
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you free that night? Great. And like come, you know,
Yeah.
and like, oh,
It's
this is how
like-
much it is. This is where you can get tickets. Like it's again, it's so interesting. Navigating through because it's you were born in America, right?
Yeah.
And so like you're first generation.
Yeah, yeah. Is it first? Yeah. I
You-
guess first generation American.
Yeah, you're first
Indian
generation.
American,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess,
you're
yeah.
first generation Indian American,
Indian,
essentially. The
yeah.
same thing as me,
Yeah,
right? Your
yeah.
parents came.
I immigrated from
Yeah,
India,
exactly. And so, we are dealing with a different like scale to like with dealing with our community because we have two different communities that we're essentially blending. But
Yeah.
then there is the connection point between other first generation Americans. And it's like as you get older, especially when, growing up in the Indian community, and like to also specify too, NEEL is part of what part of India your family from?
Bombay, it's Maharashtra, so we
Yeah.
speak Marathi.
Yeah.
But Bombay's like a big melting pot. It's like New
Yeah.
York, so everybody's there.
Bombay's, yeah, it's like,
And Mumbai, it's
it's
like,
like and then I'm, my family's from Kerala, which is like very South India and stuff.
Yeah.
But no matter what part of India your family is from,
yeah,
the Indian community can be difficult, man. Difficult. It's the
Yeah.
same reason why I've been known as the savage wedding MC,
Hmm.
because I've been calling out like stupid, simple shit, especially from like, parents and all that kind of stuff, uncles and aunties
Yeah.
that like we're literally about to do introductions and they're still standing around taking
I
like
know.
group photos with the WhatsApp, you know?
So, yeah.
But again, it's kind of
Yeah.
like simple actions where it's like I've also said that the Indian community, especially when it comes to weddings, have become so jaded because
Yeah.
of the amount of times that they are going to these weddings and become so naturally jaded. But it's like then when it comes to like, oh, like I support you, man. I see what you're doing. It's amazing. And it's kind of like they don't follow. Not only do they don't follow my pages, but then they're like, oh, when's your next show? Okay, fine. Here it is. And then it's like nothing.
Yeah, and they're like,
Crickets.
"Oh, we'll be there."
We'll be there, and then they don't show up,
Yeah, it's like,
and
okay,
there's no reason why that they didn't show up or whatever. But
Yeah.
at the same token, when they do show up, I also don't take that for granted. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know how difficult this was.
Yeah, I know. Then they're good people too, right? But
Yeah.
and we could talk about that too. But then these things stand out, right?
Yeah.
like the negative parts too. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like, but again, it's like I will. To me, it's like I don't like false promises or like
Exactly,
this
yeah.
kind of look and hope, or is I guess maybe this is something that I struggle with, and feel free to like chime in about it. But like, when people tell you, oh man, like I see what you're doing, man, it's amazing and all kind of stuff. They don't like any of the stuff. They don't
Yeah.
comment any of the stuff.
I know.
And then they don't share.
I know.
Sharing.
Oh
it,
my God.
Right? Like
It's just like, dude, yeah, don't get me started. But that's just like it's just like a never-ending cycle, and then just
Yeah.
mental health wise.
But
I've been there, man.
yeah,
It's
I
kinda
think we
annoying,
all
yeah.
have, and I think
Yeah.
that it took me a while to just lose any type of expectation. Just
Yeah.
appreciate it when it happens.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a factor that will always drive me off the wall when somebody is stating their support, but yet their silence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just telling you almost kind of like, oh, let me make you feel better. I'm sure your life is so hard because you're trying so hard to
Yeah.
make this entertainment happen. Aw, and they're like trying to almost tell me something to like make me feel good, but then obviously with the power of social media, I can see it's almost like the words hold no weight because there's like no other action behind it. You get what I'm saying? And so again, it's like, and even if it's like certain scenarios where they're like, oh, we see what you're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, man. Well, you know what? They're like, yeah, any way we can support you. I'm like, yeah, you know what, man? I know you're probably busy, but you could just share my shit. Just share my shit. If you can't make it to the show, just share my shit. Maybe somebody from your circle they'll want to come to a show.
Yeah. Exactly.
Or I put out creative content. Man, just share that shit.
I agree.
Just share my shit.
I agree.
Share our shit. That's all you need to
We
do.
can curse on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh
fine?
yeah, you can
Okay,
say whatever
cool.
you want, man.
Okay,
This is not no radio, It's a BBC
cool.
radio.
Oh, I like it, buddy.
Yeah, you can say whatever, buddy. Like, mommy, are you watching? Fuck. It's like actually, it was funny. My mom was telling me, she's like, I was listening to one of your, this podcast show that you put out, and I could not listen that many because there was like the F this and the F that, and I'm like, Mom, why are you watching my shows? It's not for you.
It's like that funny Osho. Have you seen the Osho video where he talks about fuck and the different uses of the word fuck?
Oh yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's the best. Like,
Yeah.
he's like the
John
guru,
fucked Maddie.
the guru Swami man. Bro, that guy is the best.
So
He
funny.
definitely gets the most play in the world. He gets all the ladies.
He had like 90 Rolls Royces, bro.
I don't
All
doubt
bought
it.
by his.
Man, it's crazy. Like, okay, let's talk. I don't like to talk religion.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
politics.
yeah.
But no. That being said,
yeah.
like, do you consider yourself? I mean, because your family is
we're Hindu.
Okay, you're Hindu.
But I don't know. I'm more with the spiritual side of things, like like I have some friends who are like Muslim, for example, but like their Sufism is called, right, and that's like the mystic form of Islam, right? And then like the mystic, because that and the Buddhist, like Buddhist is very simple, like if you go to the teachings. So it's always good to like listen to what the kind of core essence of these religions are, and I don't know, I just kind of do my own thing,
Yeah.
kind of.
Do you know how Buddha orders his hot dogs?
How?
He says, "Makes me one with everything."
Oh, kya baat hai, buddy. And the ketchup and the mustard too?
Yeah, everything. Pickle, relish, onion.
Yeah. No, I
You said
mean,
the Buddha dad joke just popped into my head. So
I love
that
it.
is,
I need to learn some of these jokes, bro.
yeah.
But no, I mean, my dad is very spiritual and that kind of thing, and so
Like spiritual, like.
no, not that.
But you can be one day.
And then yeah, I mean, through COVID, it was just like I don't know, I was just trying to come up with my own,
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about it. You brought up COVID, which for during the pandy, like when it comes to two industries that it affected the most, entertainment and media. Like I know what I had to go through with that. How was it for you? Like what was going through your mind? Like, did you feel like that you were kind of at like a loss or like an impasse of like how you wanted to navigate through that? Did you find yourself being more creative during that time? Like, what was that journey during the pandemic for you?
Yeah, I mean, initially, I had moved to LA for a couple months, but right before COVID, like Jan of 2020, I was like, we're gonna kill shit. We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And it was dope. Like I had a good time in LA. I had some good highlights, and then I got my own place. Like I signed a lease in like March,
Yeah.
and then quarantine happened like a week after I signed the lease.
Shit.
But I'm like, no, it's gonna last for a month or two. We'll be
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But then my parents were like, just come back. So I went back. All my gigs had gotten canceled, postponed, all that stuff. So I was just not in a good place, and took some time to like just chill, rebuild.
And that's gotta be rough too, man. Like,
I mean, you went through it too, so all entertainers.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, but it's
mine's
like,
not different. But
there's
yeah.
a certain type of thing where, like, man, like, okay, you see this progression within this journey. And
Yeah.
You're like, okay, and then you make like a big move, right? And you're like, okay, going out here,
Yeah.
I got all this lined up, and I can take care of my circumstances and be within the heat and energy of all that.
Yeah.
And then it's like, boom. It's like everything is just wiped, right? And then that
Yeah.
feeling of having to go back to your parents, you're just kind of like, fuck.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
and in the end, it's kind of like we're not gonna give our parents that much certainty being within the entertainment industry. I joke a lot about how if there were one thing that Indian parents do really well is they worry. They worry even if your life is going good. They're going to worry.
They worry.
That's what Indian parents do
Yeah,
very,
and then
very well.
if something happens, they just want to make it better. They want to kind of talk about
Yeah.
it or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just want to.
But then it's like they're like want to be there for you, like, beta, it's going to be okay, beta.
Yeah.
But then the next day they're like, but what the fuck are you thinking about your future, beta? Like,
I know
you really think this could all work out for you?
the future.
Are your parents?
I just randomly thought about this, but there's this comedian I like. He has this joke where it's like whenever he goes to parties, people are like, "Oh, when are you gonna get married?
Yeah,
when are you
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
get married?"
Yeah.
And then it's like it never ends because it's like, "Oh, once you get married, it's like, oh, when are you gonna die?
Yeah.
When you gonna get reincarnated and then get remarried?"
Yeah. If your family believes in reincarnation,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to, and this was
Yeah.
true, man. Because I mean, like, I think, well, now at this point, like, the Malu community knows me, especially like my uncles and aunties that known me since I was like a little kid. They know me to just be very bold and very different, and have some sort of response that's just going to be like so out there, right? And so obviously, like, years leading to even me before I was with Pilar, I mean, obviously I'm in my 30s, and then like, and I'm single, obviously, and then like, it's like, oh, you, Shawn, you do all this wedding party. When is going to be your wedding party? I would hear all the time, and it's kind of like it's when you have, like, me especially, like when I have the same conversation over and over again.
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm saying something different because I want to
Yeah.
invoke a different response that's just gonna
Yeah.
be funny to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just like I tell them that like in a very creative way that I'm gay.
Ah.
You know? They'll be like, when is it gonna be at a wedding party? Well, I'm like, well, it's getting kind of serious with this person, but I gotta see with his family and he's gotta be my family. And I just keep like implying that I'm gay.
Uh-huh.
And it's like watching them like click like he, him, like just like having that click point,
Yeah.
They're like, but so you're wait, so are you are you the gay? Like
And
I'm
they're
just-
they're not okay with
yeah,
marrying.
or I'd
with
be like,
the- with marrying
yeah.
him?
I'm like, wait, oh, you didn't? Okay,
You have an issue with
is it okay? Is it okay? Do you still want me to get married? That's what you want to do. That is your life. If you want to do it,
Yeah.
But like again, it's like
Evoke
after
a
a while-
different response.
yeah. And then or like if it's like a relative, I'd be like, oh, you didn't know I'm gay?
Yeah.
You didn't know that? You didn't know I'm gay? And they're like, you're not gay. Like they'll just look at me.
Yeah.
But then it's one of those things though. If I don't take my response seriously, then I feel like they won't think to ask me that question or a serious question later.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
like psychologically manipulate it so that it's
Yeah,
like
that's
I don't want to.
smart.
If you ask me a question,
Yeah.
like you can just leave it at how are you?
I
Like,
know, yeah.
But again, it's kind of like, but the Indian community is just naturally, they have no problem playing that like very intrusive,
One time,
intrusive question.
bro, I have so
Like
many of these.
I
Yeah, go ahead.
hate it. I hate it when uncles and aunties will go up to like couples
Uh-huh.
and they ask them like, when are you having kids? I think that right there is like eliminate that. Eliminate that
Yeah.
from your thought
I
of
know.
question. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Yeah.
Like, don't ask any couple, when are you having kids?
Yeah.
Also, to my fiance, stop asking me when we're gonna have a kid.
Yeah.
But like but then it's because with that too is that like you don't know if maybe they've been trying to have a kid,
Yeah.
and you don't know if like something's been going on.
I know.
Either one of
It's
them
just-
or
yeah,
something.
the
And it's
intrusive
like
thing is just
it can be a like intrusive but like
Yeah.
a hurtful thing where it's
Yeah.
kind of like, yo, I'm at a party right now. Like, why do I'm not trying to think about.
Yeah.
you
One
know-
time I did I had what was I gonna say? This is a different thing, similar, but I did a restaurant gig once, like just one of
Mhm.
those like just kind of on one random night, and not the same gig that when I got kind of flustered and I called you.
Oh,
kinda
yeah,
after,
yeah,
but
yeah.
the same restaurant.
Mhm.
And this one uncle was just like, he came, he's like, oh, so what do you do? I was like, I do music, At the time I was doing it kind of full time, and he was like, oh, okay, just music, but what do you do? I was like, no, like perform and write my own music, and he was like, but is it good money? I was like, what do you? I was like, you wouldn't ask a doctor or a lawyer that,
Mhm.
like it's. I just said that, and he was like, oh, okay. And yeah, I mean, there's different stories like this.
I guess not. It's like
Yeah.
like they feel offended.
Yeah.
Because you're just like you're calling it out. Again, it's kind
Yeah.
of like I have no problem calling out Indian uncles and aunties.
Yeah.
Like because again, it's also an old school mentality. I think it's also interesting that you have our parents or are immigrant
Mhm.
parent. They hail from, and I guess sometimes old habits die hard.
Yeah.
But it's like sometimes I find the frustration when like you don't see them making ample efforts to try and adapt.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you chose
Yeah.
to immigrate and now build a life in a whole new country. And you're doing it for selfless reasons.
Mhm.
Usually it's like, okay, my kids, give them a better opportunity for whatever, But then it's like they don't like try and shift to like try and adapt. That's like one thing I want to give my parents actually some love and grace to, because it's like I feel like they're not that standard like Indian uncle. I mean, they have definitely the qualities and stuff. They'll put on the satellite TV and just like watch that shit, But my dad loves watching sports. He loves hanging out with or being with family and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he has they would kind of learn some American mainstream like nuances and all that kind of stuff, and try and stay like somewhat relevant to what's going on and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's those parents that just like refuse,
Yeah.
And so that's always been just like an interest, because I feel like, man, like if I were to like, let's say, move to Sweden, and I'm living there and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be my life, I would adapt to like what's around me. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is my world, so I got to be part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you hold on to your traditions
Yeah.
and your culture, but also kind of
Yeah.
adapt and take in new
Yeah, because it's
things.
like, and I would say that I guess I probably have a little bit more of a diversity in clientele. I mean, the majority of your clientele is probably like all Desi and Indian, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Do you do like non-Desi?
Very few I've done before, but it's very like a
Like, you're not performing like Desi music or
no,
Bollywood
I'll
tracks.
do pop, American
Yeah,
pop, or
yeah. Because I did one at there's this one spot in Chicago. It's called Bar Goa, and they're cool, and they're in downtown Chicago, like near like where all the big Halstead like clubs are. But then they have a really dope restaurant. It's a cool chic bar type of thing. But they booked me for a gig. Actually, I believe it was the weekend I got engaged, and so I did a gig there, and I was doing a combination of like all my mashups, but I was like some Desi tracks, some American tracks.
Yeah.
Then Illest came, and then we did our acapella thing, and so
Nice.
everyone's like, "Oh, you didn't push play on anything," and like, yeah. And it was a lot of fun, but I was like, just kind of just I'm like, because I know you can sing American tracks. I mean,
yeah.
and,
I think
because we did some karaoke while you were here to show you around and everything like that.
Yeah.
And do you
was
karaoke
fun.
often?
No, man, that was fun. I haven't done that like in New. I mean, I'm sure there's things like that in New York. I just haven't like been part of that scene.
You need to put that in your life,
Yeah.
because especially for what you do, karaoke. I mean, now like my life is like doing open mics, and doing stand up.
Yeah.
But the whole point is like, you do open mics to work out material with the
Exactly.
crowd.
Exactly.
You need to work out the crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And doing karaoke is a great way to do that.
Keeps you on your toes.
It keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
You are appealing to like, let's call it a market that wouldn't typically see you, you know? And they're like, what do you, oh my God, you're amazing. What do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
You know? And, but again, it's kind of like, you're also, stretching that envelope of your like repertoire, because, you are, typically a Bollywood singer singing Bollywood songs, but then now you're really feeling like the American pop, Western like tracks, and you're working through it.
Yeah.
And like I think you'll find yourself too having like a lot of creative output of where, oh man, this track actually can mix with this Hindi track, and
that's true. That's
creating
true.
with it. So definitely do it more often, bro.
Yeah, I have to find the scene, because we sometimes friends will randomly go to
Bro,
like a
there's
club or something. But
Facebook groups, man.
Yeah,
Just look up like karaoke and then the name of your area, or like and usually there's like that's how Facebook groups is, where you're gonna be able to find that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
Definitely a good avenue.
whatever I can do to show you.
Yeah.
That is the way.
There's the way.
You can do that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
That is the way. But all right, what we're gonna do right now, actually, we'll let's take a short break.
Okay.
And go ahead and take advantage of these amazing offers from the amazing sponsors for the Metro Icon podcast. We'll be right back with Neil.
And check out neelofficial.com and get 10% off. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you did have the merchantship. Fuck, man. And we are back. We are back.
Woo!
With the one and only Neil.
All caps.
Neil, all caps. N-E-E-L, Neil. All right. And we are in our next segment, which is usually the pour point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like to pour it up. My signature, Evan Williams Honey Bourbon. First time you're trying this. And so, are you an old-fashioned guy? Like, have you ever drinking old-fashioned?
I like old-fashioned.
Okay, so this is like, because that's my favorite cocktail. So it's like, this is like an old-fashioned in a bottle. And so it's like, it's not mixed with anything or anything like that. But cheers to you.
Cheers.
Again, one more time. And
Eye contact for it. No, it's
yeah. Look at me. Look.
Oh, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Damn, I can drink this all day.
All exactly, bro. That it's so because I used to be a
It's a little too sweet, but it's good.
But it's
good.
perfect.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's not like a crazy burn. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
You have like the caramel color,
Mhm.
a little bit of that orange liqueur, and then the honey.
Yeah.
You know,
That's good.
but it's one of those drinks that when you take a sip, it's like, huh. You know,
That
You're
is
like,
the too good.
Wait, do you think so? You think I can do it? Do you think Sono Nigam will call me, man? Yeah, ramen.
Yeah, ramen noodle.
Hey, you should. There's if you ever go back to LA, man, there is actually an artist, Rianjali.
I know Ria.
You Rianjali?
Yeah. We've
and
collabed.
her husband is a rapper.
Cali, yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, man. I mean, that's actually I know them within the community with like
Nice.
with Sanu and Shireen, like.
Nice.
And so, she knows of me. We haven't formally met yet. But I was like, I mean, she's been killing.
Oh yeah,
it.
they're good people.
Yeah, they're very good people.
Yeah.
I mean, and then she sang at an AR Ramen concert, like for AR Ramen.
Oh, she worked with him.
Yeah,
like,
she
like
worked
in India.
in India, and I think also maybe in LA.
Yeah, she still does. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like homies. One time I was hanging out with her, and he like FaceTimed her.
Oh, what?
I was like, let me get out of the frame.
I'm not good. I am
like-
not worthy.
He's like, can you help me with this? Can you add the piano and strings? She's really nice. No, I just reached out to her. We did a gig together, and then I reached out just for some advice, and she was like really nice about it. And, like, met up with me.
Yeah.
And then I met Kunal a while ago too. Before I met
That's
her.
her husband?
Yeah.
Because he goes by what? Kale say?
Cali.
He goes by Cali?
That's his rap name.
Oh, I thought it was
Rapper
like
name.
Kale say or something.
Cali Say. That's
Cali
his
say.
Instagram. That's his handle. That's his handle.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I've been mispronouncing it.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I guess like you plan on bringing out this like album. Do you have like songs that you've like written that you just like unreleased?
Oh, I have so many. During COVID, you were asking me. I have so many that I wrote during COVID. At least even melodies, some lyrics also, which I have to kind of make into a put on an album. I mean, I've been doing singles till now, but I think I need to put on an album definitely soon.
How often do you write? Like, do you feel like that? Like, because I feel like now, especially that I do stand up comedy, like that, I'm just in these moments and I'm like, oh, I got to write this down now. Like, there's like some bit that maybe I just saw or experienced or just thought of, and then I'm like, oh, I got to write this down right now.
Yeah.
You know? And so, like, do you feel like that you're kind of like that? Oh, like I have to write when inspiration hits.
Yeah, I have so many voice memos where sometimes I'll even wake up. I have voice memos of like melody ideas that I do, and then I kind of I'll incorporate that later into a song.
I don't know why I'm just like imagining like you just like
Yeah, dude, I have some dope melodies when I'm sleeping.
That's for later.
Like a random melody, and yeah. Sometimes one time I was a little lazy to get up and get my phone, so I lost that idea, but it was a good idea. But sometimes I was like I'll get up and just like grab my phone real quick or something. But yeah, melodies come a lot easier to me, like I was saying before, and I have a lot of stuff that I need to put out
Yeah.
and work on.
And then like do you like how big is your family? Like do you have other siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger brother and a younger sister. They're both very talented too.
Really?
We're like the Von Trapp family.
Oh my god.
My brother is a dancer, like classically trained Kathak dancer. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
a North Indian
Yeah.
classical dance.
Yeah.
And he's a Visharad, so like bachelor's level. So
What?
he got his bachelor's degree. It's called Visharad. You know when they do the Arangetram for Bharatnatyam?
Yeah.
So he did that Ranga Pravesh on
Ah.
the Kathak side. He's in med school, but he's a very good singer as well.
So you met school, but hey, he's very talented.
I'm talking about the arts side
That's
of
the
things.
standard. That's the standard
Yeah.
Indian right
I
there.
know.
Very, very talented. And he's doing pretty well in med school too, you know?
Yeah, I know. And then my sister's younger. She's, she makes fun of me. She's like, you treat me like I'm 12. Like, we have an 8-year age gap, right?
Ah.
So, she's killing it though. She graduated from undergrad, and she wants to be a lawyer. So she's on that route.
Man, the oldest is the discipline.
I know. I'm the black sheep.
Yeah.
I said that to somebody. I was
brown
like, I'm the
sheep.
black sheep. Like, don't say that.
No, you're the
You're
brown
a
sheep.
very special guy.
No, you're the
a very
brown
special
sheep.
Singer.
Yeah, I've had uncles and aunties say like, "Oh, you're like the black sheep." I'm like, "No, brown sheep." Only thing black is you can't see it. That's on me.
Bro, the intrusive thing you were saying before, right, with the when you're having kids.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing, which is a pet peeve of mine, bro, because during COVID we all gained weight, right? So I did a gig like coming out of COVID, and this uncle guy who kind of knew me was like, "Oh, Neil, you gained some weight." I was like, Why are you people so rude about this? You know, straight up. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I was kind of sore about it, and he's like,
I'm
"No."
pregnant. Now
he's,
what?
he's like, he's like, "No, you're like my son's age." I'm like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, so?
Why is that a thing?
Yeah, why is it?
Yeah. I'm like, you're not a dad to me, you know? You're not my dad.
And did he have a gut as he's telling you this too? Or was
No,
he like
was
a
kinda-
very
he was
slender?
okay. He was a doctor, but still, I mean, Tom Segura has a funny thing. It's like we went to the doctor, and the doctor was like roasting him. But it's like,
Oh, yeah,
this
yeah.
guy wasn't like, I don't know. I just didn't like it when he did it.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think it's just kind of like, yeah, man, that shit is unnecessary. You know?
Yeah. And we
But-
comment on weight. And if you're skinny,
Wait, were
you
you-
need to gain weight.
but
If you're
was he-
fat, you need to lose weight.
Yeah, but when he was a doctor, like, were you seeing him as like a
No,
doctor's
no,
appointment?
no, hell no.
Yeah, so
This
he was
at a
just
gig.
seeing you
Yeah,
on
it
a
was-
gig
Yeah.
and calls you fat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
I was, yeah, I'm like, why
Thank
are
you,
brown
you
people so
fuck.
rude? Like white people, I mean, you know, like non-Indians, kind of, you don't see it that much, right?
Yeah.
You know?
And that's one thing I like, you know, what's funny is like at Indian weddings and stuff, it's like when I see that diverse, the non-Desi, non-Indian, like attendees that are at the event or gig or whatever,
Yeah.
they appreciate and like it's more easier. They're easier to deal with.
Yeah.
That's like part of also my savagery
Mhm.
is that like I will call it out like, oh, all my non-Desis in the house.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't have to repeat nothing to y'all.
Yeah.
You ready to go.
Yeah.
You already sat down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll be like, uncles, aunties, y'all making us look bad. You know, like y'all don't give a shit. You know,
Yeah.
don't you know, they care way more. It's the same thing where it's kind of like you see like the family dances at the wedding, right?
Yeah.
And then you have that like one family member or person who married, you know, like the non-Indian that married like into the family, you know?
Yeah.
And they're performing.
Mhm.
I usually am like always watching them.
Hmm.
It's because, you know, usually, especially they're like doing some sort of like, you know, Indian Bollywood track or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you see how much they care because, you know, the rest of the family members are like learning the dance moves right before they go up.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But them, they're like, oh, the video was sent out. They're like watching it. They like care. They want to make sure that they're like coming through and not looking like a fool when they're trying to perform for like another culture.
Exactly.
You know, within their
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
And it's like, I appreciate that. It's like, I wish like some Desis would almost think like that.
Mhm,
You know, treating it like it's like the first time, like, oh, I need to make an impression within that culture,
Yeah.
even if it's your own.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's where I'm like, where Desis can get that jaded because it's like, man, like, you know, you're going to let them care more
Mm-hmm.
about things within your
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
know. It's interesting.
So that's why, but I always call it out and be like, but one thing I love is I love watching a good white girl do that Bollywood shit, you know, like, because it's
Nice.
like, because again, it's kind of like you just see them, you know, they care way more and they want to execute it. And it's like,
Yeah.
they're never really the ones that are like, they have to follow, you know, and they're like just
Yeah.
following and like, oh, what's the next step? It's like, they're usually the ones that are more on point. If you ever notice.
Yeah, it's funny. People are getting this insight. I mean, I hope you're getting enough content because I know this is just like a venting session now.
I guess for me and you, but maybe mostly for me, you know? You bring real much calm to my heart, you know?
I do the trying.
Yeah, you.
I do the
I
trying.
look at you. When I look at you, I see innocence, you know?
Thank you.
And all I want to is show my pure self and talk about the bullshit that we have to deal
Thank you,
with,
buddy.
know?
Yeah.
What do you think is like the most frustrating thing you have to deal with within like your like entertainment or music career? What do you think is the most frustrating thing you have to deal with?
I don't know, man. There's a lot.
Well, let me ask you this then. Are your parents, because you have two siblings,
Yeah.
one's going to be a doctor, one's going to be a lawyer, like, are your parents are they supportive of your music career?
They are, yeah. I mean, they're of course, like you were saying before, like they worry. You know, they just want to make sure I'm good and I'm on my 2 feet and stable and all that.
Yeah.
You know, like everything. And
But do you feel like that, like, they've seen what you are able to do? Like, they've seen your talent?
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, to a scale.
and they used to drive. Like my dad is like he's like my biggest supporter. He used to drive
love
me
that.
to my lessons. You know, growing up and like bring my keyboard if I needed it. You know, even at a friend's house to impress people. He
Yeah.
brought my keyboard. And my mom is like my worst critic, kind of like she'll tell me straight up, no, I didn't like that. My dad will say it too, but he'll also tell me the good stuff, But they're good. I mean, they're very supportive, and yeah, I owe a lot to them, but it's different because I mean it's hard because they still have that Indian, it's you don't want to compare to other people, but
Right.
then you still do, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, he went to whatever, he has a job, whatever, 200K, whatever, all that
Yeah.
stuff, right? And well, I feel like everybody's different, and you just gotta kind of embrace your path.
Yeah, but I think though the concept of like having support from your parents, right? I feel like my parents do support me, and I think at this point in my life they very much do support me. But it was I think a long road, and I think though their support really came full circle when they started getting validation from
Yeah,
the Malu community,
exactly,
right?
yeah,
When
yeah.
other parents or other uncles and aunties are coming to them like, we saw Shawn at the wedding, my God, when they get that,
Yeah.
that's when they can feel like, you know what, man, like he is actually doing it. So it's like there's a lot within even my life now, even when me doing this whole podcast thing, like people are like, you're inviting all these people. What are you doing? What is
Yeah.
this? What is podcast? What is that?
What is-
Fishing? We do fishing upstairs.
What is this? What
and,
is this?
and it's a point of like where they don't really. I have to like literally explain to my parents what a podcast is, like 'cause they
Yeah.
don't listen to that shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's the new
And-
thing, right? Since COVID, I guess.
Yeah,
It's been there, but
yeah. I mean, and I started obviously after I moved here, but I love the realm of podcasting. Like I have my 2 shows, but Metro Icon, I love because it's more of a personal deep dive that I get to have with this person. I know that if I sit down with somebody on Metro Icon, that it's going to be a more personal intake of me really getting to know that individual.
Yeah.
Right. And so like I'm only bringing certain types of people that I feel like, okay, I'm going to gain something from this. You know what I mean? And, I think by now that like, I just appreciate an intuitive conversation no matter what,
Yeah, exactly.
but like that being said, it's like, this is a thing that we're like, I'm not doing the podcast in order for me to like, it helps with like SEO and being an easier Google search and whatever else. But I really do this for me,
Yeah.
And then I have On Air Don't Care. That's a live broadcast one. It's in a bar, like that's like shenanigans and it's just fun.
Yeah, yeah,
Like when my 2 guys that I do with John and Jason, like, they invest their time and resources because they're having fun. And that's like the biggest thing. So it's kind of like, we believe, that these forums, a platform is going to elevate and garner numbers, but
Yeah.
it's not the mission of why we're trying to do it,
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of entertainers in the world out there, and feel free to put in your perception on it. But I feel like there's a good realm of entertainers that do it not as much for the love of the game, but they do it for the like vanity and of the
clout.
numbers.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so
I mean, it's a mix. I mean, everybody has their that all is like attractive, but then it's good to find like your true calling. And
yeah,
do it
because
for-
I think
yeah.
like even people will see me like they'll think that I'm that party guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm not really engaging in what like that atmosphere. I will help to amplify it.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm working.
Uh-huh.
But a lot of times, like if I'm just like out, or like let's say like okay, last night I did this wedding in Addison, and then they had an after party.
Yeah.
And I had to stick around because I provided the sound and lighting for the after party, so I had to be there to break it down. But like I'm not engaging as much in the after party unless I want to.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know?
Yeah.
And so, when people are like, "Oh man, let's do a shot," and I'm like, "No," I'm not that dude. I'm
Yeah,
not that
yeah.
guy that like loves. I'm like, yeah, I could throw him back and party
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
whatever. And like I can blend with, most type of people or energy and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like I know how to navigate, but that's just not. I mean, especially at 36, bro. Like,
Yeah, you don't want to be forced to kind of
Because you're how old?
I'm 30.
Oh
I'll be 31 in August.
Oh,
Everything's coming out Wikipedia page now.
I gotta tell
All the
you.
info.
I do gotta tell you. You
Huh.
know, my mom when I was downstairs, my
Huh.
mon was like, "Is he single?" I said yes.
And then you
And
said
I
you
said, "How old is he?" I'm like, "I think late 20s,
20s.
or maybe like 28."
Yeah, I think I heard that
28,
27,
28,
28.
27,
Yeah, what did
28.
she say?
And she's like, "Oh," so you know that her brain is cooking. You
There's
know?
some family friends.
Yeah, maybe. You know, maybe she's trying to find you a nice Malu girl. You know,
Hmm.
is there like a type? Do you want to marry within the culture? Do you think like you would want to keep it to like another like Hindu girl, like or you know?
I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I think because at home I speak Marathi with my parents, and we have that kind of background. It'd be cool to kind of a Marathi girl. But I'm open, man. I mean, if I have a genuine connection with somebody, I think that's a lot more important, and you can figure all that.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, you know, like I'm bridging gaps.
You're doing multicultural.
I'm very witty, you know, very witty, diverse. You know, no, I mean it's gonna be interesting. You know, like I'm about a month away, and you know, gonna bring my fiance and her kids out here, and
Yeah, it's dope.
and again, like that's a dynamic. I mean, it's not as much even the cultural difference. It's you know, it's a circumstance difference, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that it was gonna be tough for my parents, you know. But again, it's kind of like, you know, one thing I don't compromise in is like my energy and time and the people that I keep around me, you know. And so, and trust me, man, like I looked in all ways to try and walk away from that relationship. I think me and her both did, and I think it all catered down even after I moved here that we just refused to quit each other.
I know you told me. I was like, that's deep.
Yeah. What are you looking for in your love?
Are you Seema auntie now? Seema auntie.
Man, Seema Andy can try. Seema Andy can try to be like Shawn Kay, man.
Yeah.
But no, but like I think that's a real question, man. I mean, I think it's like you sing about love.
Yeah.
You know, that I think it's a big premise. You feel, you know, like, and I think it's funny. You were showing me one of your tracks in the song or in the car. You were showing me one of your songs, and it's like I don't, you know, I can sing some Hindi, but I don't know what the fuck I'm singing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, and then when you played your track, I'm like, you were like, let me give you the translation. I'm like, no, let me feel it first. Then you can give me the translation after. And then I kind of gave you my feel of what I felt like the song was relating. And you were kind of like, oh, you know what? That's kind of a little bit exactly where it was kind of.
Yeah.
But
I forget what you said, but yeah.
yeah, it was like, Lao is Lao.
Mohabbat.
You love Mohammed, Mohammed and Mohammed. You Mohammed, Mohammed. No, but I think is there like a genre of music that you feel like that you'd want to kind of breach to give like yourself a different sound? You ever think about that?
I'm very passionate about this like R&B because I grew up with obviously the Rafi Saab's my idol and everybody knows that. I hope to this point, like Bollywood stuff I grew up with, like the old 60s 70s Bollywood, but also when I was in like middle school, high school, I got introduced like Boyz II Men and that whole sound like R&B. And Justin Timberlake was popping then, but Boyz II Men were still.
That's why you and I,
Yeah.
we just clicked
vibe
on
on
that
it,
shit,
yeah.
bro.
Dude. Like I bought that album. I don't know. I don't remember the name of it, but I bought one of their albums, and it had like four seasons of loneliness, and like in the still of the night, and all those classics.
Oh, that's Cooley High Harmony.
Is it?
I think it
was like a compilation album. It was a
They're all
different-
wearing like kind of like high school Letterman type of like vests on the album cover.
It was like dark black.
Oh yeah, no,
I think it was like a compilation. It might have been Motown Philly or something.
That was their next album.
Might have been Motown Philly.
I think that might have been.
Yeah.
I think from literally Boyz II Men, like that was a self-titled album. Their first one was Cooley High
maybe.
Harmony.
Okay. I think.
But yeah, I remember. Yeah.
I bought that one. And
Dude, In the Still of the Night was my.
that's a cover, right? There's like a
Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
old song.
yeah.
But that was my audition piece when I did show choir. When I
Wow.
auditioned for show choir.
Nice.
In the still of the night,
I
held you tight. Yeah, there we go.
Such a good song.
And then
I've auditioned with that.
and
too
then
before.
whenever I do a karaoke night, I sing always the last song. I sing the same song at every karaoke night, like as the last
one?
song. No. End of the Road.
Oh, End of the Road. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like whenever I hear like people just hear the doom doom doom.
Yeah.
Doom,
Who's your
doom,
favorite
doom.
Boyz II Men guy?
Sean.
Sean, right? Yeah, mine is. I like Nathan's voice is so buttery.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean, like the tenor.
Yeah.
Oh. Not Wanya.
No, man, Sean, bro. I mean, especially he spells it the right way too. But I'm just like, man, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like really, his voice is like so smooth. I like Nathan's is like very buttery and like raspy.
Yeah. And it's funny
Um,
though they got rid of the listen, y'all.
He had
they're the bass
he had
guy.
a scoliosis problem.
Oh, was that? I had
Yeah.
no idea why.
I think there might have been some drama too, but I think he had a scoliosis and back issues.
He's like, you only want me to talk on this motherfucking tracks and shit.
Yeah.
He's like, can I sing something? But even then when he's saying when he's saying on the songs, you just hear like a bottom. You're like, that's all you do.
Yo, and was this yesterday? I think right. That's such a good song. It's so hard to say goodbye. Sorry, it's so hard to say. So
hard to say goodbye.
Yeah. So I got introduced to them in high school, and then I was like, "This sound is dope," and I want to make stuff like that, but like with Hindi Urdu influence. Indian
Man, you know
fusion.
what, man? Have you ever thought about being like a Bollywood boy band?
Yo, I've thought about it.
You
That'd be
got that
cool.
look, dog. You have that look where like, you know how it's kind of like there's like the characters like, I'm the wild one. And it's like, I'm the innocent one. I'm like, I'm the heartthrob. You know what I mean? I feel like you'd be like the lovable one. I feel
Thanks,
like
bro.
you'd be like the innocent, lovable one, you know, that
Thanks, bro.
like, I love Neil.
I
you know?
was telling you the other day. I was like, I need like a pocket Shawn Kay so I could take with me
I
everywhere.
know, man.
So I open it. It's like, yo, you're the shit. Okay, thank you.
Inspiration on the go.
Thank you,
man.
Sean, buddy.
Yeah, I was saying like I could also like record just like audio stuff that like in case you just need it.
Yeah.
You are Neil. There's only one Neil, spelled with all caps and two simultaneous
It's like the teddy bear
vowels.
with the string, you know.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
put it like-
Oh, Build-A-Bear. I get you like a little Build-A-Bear that you
With
can
the
press.
string.
You're great, Neil.
You can do anything.
You can do it. I know you can.
No, but honestly, it means a lot, man. Like, you know, like having you and connecting with you and, you know,
Likewise, man.
having the bond.
No, but like I think we talked about this that first night you got here and we grabbed dinner, and you're a very humble human being,
Thank you.
and as understanding like you have a talent and something to offer, you don't think that highly of yourself, like, or you're overly critical and getting in your head.
Yeah.
And dude, this is a very common problem for a lot of entertainers and just
Yeah.
general is getting in their head of like, what's the best way, you know? And I've gotten to a mode of like feeling, and a lot of times where it's like there are things that I do want to say, you know, especially like comedy wise, like, you know, on a wedding,
Yeah.
and things that I do want to say. But then I have to be like, okay, will this be well received? And I have to but like, it's not like, oh, what's the best thing I can do right now?
Yeah.
It's more so like, I want to do this, but will it be well received? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's kind of like that's my only balance point. Otherwise, I'm
Ah.
very much like just kind of reacting, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, one thing I noticed about you is the fact that like you don't give yourself like, it's kind of like, yo, know how dope you are.
I know. Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I think. Yeah. Therapy session.
Yeah.
I think confidence definitely has. I mean, it's there, but
You
then
have
sometimes-
confidence.
Yeah.
It's not a lack of confidence. You know what I mean? Because like when it comes to showing up, you can show up and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Right. But it's more so of like the afterthought process of sometimes maybe even the result or like the journey forward
Yeah.
that you like overcritical. You know, like I
Yeah.
think you talked about you know, and then you said that you went on like Bollywood date. You want a date with like a
I don't know if it was a day. We'll talk about that another time.
No, let's talk about it right now. That's fun, man. 'Cause
Yeah.
let's talk about it because maybe she might hear it. You know, who was it that you grabbed a quick? You said grabbed a coffee.
I met
or
him.
lunch?
So there's this actress who, when I was in LA, I randomly ran into. Her name's Nargis Fakri,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to talk to her about something. So we grabbed coffee, and it was cool, like for like 30 minutes or whatever. And then we talked about the industry and just about life and stuff. And at the end, she was like, "See, I'm such a cheap date." And I was like, what? Oh. It happened to be Valentine's Day. I was just so like I was just thinking a lot. I was just let me be professional.
I think you were
a good person.
yeah. Which
I
always
am
a smart.
anyway,
Yeah,
but yeah.
that's a smarter move to do, right? But then it's kind of like the hopeless romantic overthinker side of you. As soon as she says the word like, "Oh, I'm a cheap date."
Yeah.
Date. This was not professional. It was like, what am I supposed to do?
It could have. I mean, it could have been a joke too, right? But who knows?
And
I mean, she's big, so she came all the way to like meet up with me. So that was like a big.
And in some sense, like I'm sure there was like, it was kind of a joking type of deal, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think what that also says is that she was comfortable.
Yeah.
To be able to make that joke and be like, oh yeah, see, I'm a cheap date, you know?
Yeah.
And
because I got her like a $2 coffee little
yeah
shot or whatever, right?
Yeah. But again, it's kind of like, you know, again, that also I think speaks to like that comfort you gave her because, you know, like I Googled her and I'm like, yo, this girl's huge. She's beautiful.
She's gorgeous. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
In person too. Yeah.
Very but I'm like, yo, like this girl's got numbers. And when you're like on a certain scale within the entertainment game, it's kind of like we talked about this before, was that like you're just so used to meeting energy that like are trying to sell you in a way to make you feel comfortable because they're trying to gain something from you, right? It's something out of their own benefit, not so much of just like I'm just trying to get to know this person, you know what I mean? And I felt like what I'm taking away from it was that like, you know, you really came in there. We're just kind of like, yeah, no, I'm grateful that you showed up, and you know, I didn't, you know, whatever, and we're just having this time. But again, it's kind of like you just kept it genuine, you kept it real, and I'm sure she appreciated that more than anything.
I think that's because I was just like a normal person, not a normal person. Sorry, I was like, I just treated her like a normal person, you know, which she probably doesn't get. People don't get like that, you know. And I didn't even ask for a picture, like selfie. I could have easily done that, like selfie, picture, all that stuff. But I was like, no, like let me just be in this moment.
I'm like that
Get
too.
to know her.
I'm like that too. Like I rarely bust out my phone, you know, to like capture stuff. You know, I'm just so caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm like the worst at taking pictures, and that's like at the same time, it's kind of like when something's happening and you see like after the weekend, like people were taking a bunch of group photos and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm like rarely never there.
I know.
You know what I mean? I'm just like literally just caught up, just enjoying what was whatever in front of me and just being in the moment. You know.
And so the candids are cool. You know.
Yeah.
Pictures.
Yeah, but like, but you know, I do want to touch on points because you know, let's get a little personal, Neil.
Okay.
Because you know you are single. Are you looking?
I am. I mean, you asked me what I was looking for. I'm still actually I go through different stages, man. Right now. I think I need to just work on myself, you know, more, and just the music stuff and just figure stuff out.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's finally listening. He's finally listening
and understand how dope I am, like you're saying. You know?
Yeah.
And then I could kind of, you know, you want somebody you can grow with, obviously. So I'm not like saying no to it right now, but I think I definitely need to just spend some more time with myself.
Yeah. And I think I mean it's not a question that there's a lot that you can give, right? Like I think that there's a lot that you can offer. And there's a lot that you're willing to give in a relationship, but I think again, I'm all really much about having a partner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you know, it's like I think I don't know if I mentioned this or I was talking to this one woman, and she's like, "Oh, your fiance and her kids." So it's like, "Oh, you're buying her the house."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What you mean I'm buying her the house?" She's like, "Oh, you're not gonna buy her a house?"
Yeah.
Like, what kind of man are you? I'm like, okay. I'm like, so what kind of woman are you? Like, you just want to be a gold digger? Like, you're just trying
exactly.
To have,
yeah.
like, she's like, I don't need no man to take care of me. I'm like, so then you're contradicting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm like, you think that I'm trying to find a woman for me to take care of? No. I'm with a woman who can take care of herself. I'm looking for a partner.
Exactly.
And that's what she was looking for, was a partner.
Exactly.
So if I'm buying a house, we are buying a house.
Yeah.
I'm buying a house with my partner.
Exactly.
I'm building a house with my partner.
Exactly.
I'm like, and she's like, oh my God, that was like the best answer. I'm like, I know. You know, and so again, I think that is a very strong point to come to. And I think I also believe that when you're not looking for it is when it tends to show,
Yeah.
because you're like, because even when you're not looking for it, then you'll give yourself more reason to want to like deny it. And then at that point, if it's very real and it's very genuine, then it's going to follow through in its own natural energy
Yeah,
that you're going to want to
exactly.
keep around. Right.
Exactly.
And so again, yeah, I think, you can want it, and, for us R&B hearts, loneliness is something that, we can naturally carry
Yeah.
in any given moment,
And it's not lonely. It's also just being alone, being comfortable alone. as
Yeah, but I
compared to
mean,
being
yeah,
lonely.
there's like so many. You are a natural. What's the word that I'm looking for?
Hopeless romantic.
Well, not hopeless romantic. It's like where you carry strongly with your emotions and how you feel. Empath.
Oh, empath.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
You're like you're a big empath.
Yeah,
So like you want to be able to share victories, but also share
Yeah.
struggles and all that kind of stuff. But I think that there's also a strong point of you can get with your own self that you are very comfortable sharing it just with yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like I became so comfortable going to the karaoke bar by myself, going to watch that movie by myself.
Yeah.
Not being like, hey man, you want to go watch this movie at 3? Or like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't even want to fucking ask.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? I want to go. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
And I just go and I'll buy a ticket for one, hang out.
Exactly.
Sometimes I would like bring in like a couple beers and stuff like that in my pockets and just like hang out and watch a movie and shit. Like
Yeah.
I've done that numerous times, but then it's a dangerous quality to have when you learn to enjoy time with yourself.
Why dangerous though?
Well, dangerous in a good way.
Oh,
where,
okay,
You know
okay.
what I'm saying? Like where it's like, because then you enjoy your own time and energy of what you create within yourself, and only inviting like what you want to receive, so that like it's dangerous because it's like you won't accept anything less. You know what I mean? Because you value yourself and you're like I don't need to hang out with X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I can be just fine with my own self. Like I can people watch and just look around and just notice the energy that's happening,
Yeah.
But I'm just like, all right, I'm enjoying just kind of having my own time and being able to like share these moments with myself and like, I think there's a power to that, and I think when you then get very comfortable with yourself, realizing like, I'm actually pretty awesome. And I'm not going to fight to keep energy that I think should be in my life,
Yeah.
I'm just going to like operate and be okay with my own self and energy wherever I am. And ultimately only let in that genuine
Yeah.
thing where it's not like you're working to keep them in your life. It's like a two-way street. And that's the premise of also why you and I are sitting here, is because you and I both work to like be like, yo, like, obviously we followed each other, but like, like everything we post, it's kind of like, yo, fire, that's dope.
Yeah,
and then being
exactly.
like, and then and I'll say this, and I'll put this on you, man. You're the one that's like, hey man, like I'd love to catch up with you. Like, are you free this time tomorrow? Whatever. Let's, just catch up on life. Bet, let's do it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll never deny that. That's real energy. Like real knows real.
Yeah, I try to do that. Yeah, with people. So I'm glad you also don't take that for granted, because sometimes people are just like, "Yo, I don't have time. What's up? Like, what do you want to talk about?"
Wait, you have a problem?
Yeah.
You want a problem? What's going on? You need, because I don't have money, man.
Yeah.
But it's just like, no, I think that like more people like, and I have, some of my close friends from Chicago and stuff, where I'm just kind of like, man, like I haven't talked to them in a minute. I just want to see how they're doing.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah.
And again, it's like, it's the same thing as like check up on your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And just make sure, like, regardless of whatever they may be posting, a lot of people like post things on social media that is only like, oh, everything is so good. And it's just like, you don't know if it's actually bullshit or not. And you could just, it's all just about really just checking in, queuing in, and maintaining the genuine connections that only grow with you, And so, yeah, man.
Wow.
Oh my God, did he
I
just...
remembered. I did color.
He touched my buttons, man. Nobody ever touches my buttons, but this guy NEEL, man, divas, bro. Fucking divas is coming to my.
I remember it was that color.
I knew the chime was this one right here. That's right. I'd be for season 3. I might be changing up some of my stuff. I have different effects, but
Wow.
I'll be we'll see.
Nice.
I might be changing up and throwing in some
I like
new
it.
ones because I know there's some that I don't, but so like for example, Neil's love life sounds like this.
What does that mean, bro?
Crickets.
Peaceful.
It is. There we go. It's peaceful. That's what it is. Well, shit, man. I'm super, super grateful that you were able to, come through.
Respect.
And well, like, dude, when you knew you were coming for this gig, you're like, I felt like you hit me up right away, like, yo, I'm gonna be here this week.
Yeah.
Definitely want to hang out. I'm like, yo, 100%.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for you. I'm excited for what's gonna be coming. And let's just gauge that this episode will probably be released within the next like 2 months or something. So wherever you're at that point, what can people be expecting from you? Let's say next 2-3 months.
I think this thing I'm working on will be out for sure, and then I'll be busy gigging a lot this summer, and then hopefully putting out another single. Yeah, man, just constantly working, and I don't know what will people be looking
Yeah,
for.
we'll see what but who cares what people are looking for? I was caring about what you are going.
Oh.
You see what you did?
No. I mean like what people see that I'm doing. I'm saying.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, just be gigging this summer and then originals and stuff. But no, thanks for having me, bro. It was
Dude,
a good time.
Listen, man, it's all about you showing up, man.
Yeah.
It's and that's really what I'm all about is seeing who shows up, and so that's the big deal. So I'm not sure if you've ever seen my show before and seen how I close out.
I've seen clips. I haven't seen close out yet.
But there we go. So we're gonna have to catch that
Alarm.
flight soon. But how I end the show every time is that I have my guest leave off on a final note out into the world. And the way I picture it is that if this was going to be the last thing you ever said on an audio platform or on video, last thing you want to put out to the world, you go ahead and close it off with that. Go ahead. I know.
Wow.
I know, right?
You want to go first?
This is not for me.
No,
This
you
is
do it. You do too. I want to hear what you would say as well.
what I would say.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this is the first. This is the first. What I would say is, simply don't compromise what you love. Work forward to what grows with you, and continue to do what you love so that you can be your best version of love to the entire world.
Wow, that's good. I would just say, I mean, I think I'm just striving to kind of spread love through music, and I think that's what I was kind of that's what my calling is, with music. I've been singing my whole life, so and yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm anywhere to give advice, but that's what I would say.
It's just the last sentiment.
Spread love through
Music
music.
is love.
Spread love through music.
Spread love through music, and music is love.
Music is love.
Zindagi. Thank you, bro.
Thanks, man.